Hello, and we are live. Hello to another edition of Mufasa's book reading at noon. Such a pleasure to have you here today. We're still reading from Bruce D. Schneider's Energy Leadership book. We're on our 11th chapter, and as I did say, we will be finished with the book tomorrow. I know, but do not fear. We're working around something to bring you some more content, some more live content, unedited, unscripted for you to enjoy, right? So I'm going to get into today's chapter as a recap, right, of everything we've done so far. You can always go onto our YouTube channel, which will be linked in the description at the end of today's live. And you can also just view our Facebook page. Remember to like, comment, and also to share this wonderful content with all of your friends and family and other people who are part of your organization. Today's chapter is titled The CEO of the Future, and we'll be focusing on level 5. Level 5, yes, level 5. Okay, and level 5, let me just refer to my energy leadership chart. Level 5, the core feeling is peace. It's about reconciliation. It's about acceptance. Wonderful, right? Absolutely wonderful. And we all want a lot of that in our life. It is still, I think it's in the having. So, yeah, it's in the having sphere. So, and we are aware. And the art of faith still showing art of faith. And the frequency is still a medium frequency, which is good. All of these energy levels are good because in the book I did read that all the energy levels have advantages and disadvantages. So let me start reading today and set the timer. I get so carried away with these because I really enjoy doing them. I forget to set the timer. And I hope you enjoy these as well. So remember to like, leave a comment saying, Mpho, I am enjoying these. Mpho, you know what? I'm enjoying these. Thank you. Let's engage with each other. So 10 minutes is there. Okay. Much of the success of life depends upon keeping one's mind open to opportunity and seizing it when it comes. Betty began the interview by welcoming Kyle and introducing him to Don. You already know Richard, of course, and this is Don, our Vice President of Marketing. If we all decide that it's a good fit for you to come to work here, you and Don will be working closely together. Don is responsible for landing some of our biggest accounts. He's Richard's right-hand man, and he's got a clear idea of what kind of person will best fit this position. Kyle smiled at Don, firmly shook his hand. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir, he said. Don patted him on the shoulder and chided him. Now, let's not get off on the wrong foot, son. You're making me feel like an old man. Just call me Don. Laughing, Kyle and Don, l- Laughing, Kyle told Don that he would be honored to do so. Although he was eager to put Kyle at ease, it was also clear that Don appreciated the younger man's deference. Don seemed to have reconciled his earlier misgivings and appeared composed and relaxed, commanding respect without being domineering. And it helped that Kyle was so likable and at ease himself. He exuded both confidence and a desire to serve. As they talked, it was obvious to Richard that Kyle was steadily operating at level 4, which he found appealing. He liked what he saw as Kyle interacted with Betty and Don. Both of them seemed buoyed by Kyle's upbeat and generous spirit. Nowadays, Richard was constantly thinking about how to bring up the aggregate energy score in his organization. He was also aware that whenever he was around people with anabolic energy, he found it natural to operate at that level too. Having Kyle walk through the doors functioning at level 4 made Richard think that he might not only get to see some level 4 and higher behaviors in the sales department as it developed, but that it would also carry over to other departments. That's very beautiful. Richard didn't really need to conduct the rest of the interview to make a decision, but he could see that it would serve a purpose for Don and Betty to be involved in this hiring. They would both have a greater investment in Carl's success with the company. And when Richard started talking about what it would be like to have a salesperson with the support of the rest of the staff, a salesperson who already had the chops to represent his company in a way that Nate never had been able to, he actually felt his arms and the top of his head start to tingle. Despite this growing feeling of elation, Richard took a deep breath and centered himself so he could remain focused and calm. During a brief lull in the interview, though he didn't try to contain his delight, Richard leaned forward and gently tapped Kyle on the knee as a show of appreciation and affection. When Richard recounted the interview and its inevitable outcome to me, Kyle was joining O'Connell Consulting in just under 2 weeks' time. He was still beaming. I can't wait for you to meet him, Bruce. Looking forward to it. Kyle's open and honest, willing to listen and learn, and he has an undeniable desire to make this company a success. He's the kind of person who makes me want to be a better leader, who makes me feel like I can be one, and maybe I already am. Congratulations on building the kind of team you really want, I said. You've made some amazing strides with the people closest to you. And now you've added someone new who sounds like he'll work really well with everyone else. Maybe now, when you talk about the Fantastic Four, you can take your tongue out of your cheek. Richard laughed. You want to know what else is going on? Of course. Well, here's something interesting. I met someone last week, this amazing woman, smart, sexy, soulful, just my type. Richard looked mischievous. All right, I'll bite, I told him. Who'd you meet? My wife, Jody, Richard, Richard said quietly. Let me say it. My wife, Jody, Richard said quietly. That's wonderful. More congratulations are in order. Yes, thank you. She and I have been talking for a couple hours almost every night lately, and our conversations have been more and more revealing. I mean, talking about our relationship and even the business. For a long time, she didn't want to hear it because sometimes it felt like my work was what was causing problems in our marriage. But now it's clear that it wasn't the business, it was me. Well, it was her too, but I think that what's important is that each of us is owning up to our own part and trying not to blame the other. That's level 3 cooperation for sure. That's been at the heart of a lot of our talks, to tell the truth. We've been comparing notes on what each of us thinks it means to be fully conscious. She's been into that kind of thing for years, actually. She's been very encouraging about the work you and I have been doing together as well. And she's enjoyed learning about the eye chart. Right off, she did her best to identify where she is on the chart, and I told her where I am most of the time. Then we discussed the people here in the office, and she had some great insights and ideas for how to relate to them better. In sharing all of this, I've learned that Jody and I have a lot more in common than I thought. And I like talking with her about these things, these lofty, big picture, human nature things. We've been married for 22 years, but I feel like I'm getting to know her all over again. Richard's look suggested that he couldn't quite believe his new fortune. It's pretty amazing, he said. It is, I agreed. It's great that you're seeing that leadership is not limited to the office. I certainly am, Richard said. What I'm learning has helped me improve not only my business, but myself. I can't imagine going back to being my old self. After allowing him a moment to reflect on what he just said, I asked, so how's your new self how's your new self goal game? Since we're talking about personal things. Actually, I haven't been on the course as much lately, mainly because I'm focusing on other priorities right now. But I do still get out at least once a week. And I can tell you that when I play now, somehow it's not the same game I used to play. Richard splayed his hands on his desktop and looked down at them. Maybe I'm taking this energy leadership stuff too seriously, but I have to tell you something. Before I arrive at the course, I decide which energy level will show up. I stick with 4, focusing on the emotional aspects of the game and helping my golf buddies really enjoy the day. And level 5, seeing every shot as an opportunity for success. That's very beautiful. Looking straight at me, Richard explained, keeping that focus before I take each shot. I take a deep breath and visualize the ball in the hole, and then it's kind of like autopilot. Amazing. And my scores are better than ever. You know, it's a lot like things here in the office. Before I tried too hard not to make mistakes, and all I did was make them. Now I focus on success with every ounce of my energy, and while it's almost effortless. Richard took a deep breath. Here's something that's not feeling so effortless. With a quizzical look, he handed me a piece of paper. It appeared that while Richard was focusing on sinking more putts on the golf course, Tonya was still focusing on sinking mates. Tonya, Tonya is so hilarious. I love this lady. So, Richard, I suggest we send a letter like this to Nate to rein him in immediately. Tonya. So, this is a draft email from Tonya. Draft. Dear Mr. Allen, this letter is being sent as a formal demand that you immediately discontinue any actions, including verbal and or written communication, that in any way defames or is otherwise detrimental to the reputation and image of this company. We consider that your threats of litigation to be frivolous and evidence of harassment. Whew, this is a packed email. And we were prepared to fully support the cause of your termination in any appropriate legal proceedings. In consideration of your past ties to this organization and to its principal, we have not issued a formal cease and desist order. However, be advised that we are prepared to do so if there is anything further action by you which we deem as continued harassment, and any violation of such order may have civil and or criminal implications. Sincerely. Whew. And that concludes actually our reading for today. I know this is such a packed email from Tonya, really it is, but it also does show that she cares about, O'Connell Consulting as well. So that's the viewpoint I'm going to take from this, because everything is, as Richard said, everything is an opportunity of success. So this situation as well. So I wonder, which opportunities of success will you be taking today as you navigate through the rest of your week, right? Which opportunities of success will you be taking, and how will you be taking them? I will also link the eye chart that I refer to here, and it's also really helped me to decide which energy level am I at, and how can I get myself to another level, and when I'm around other people to understand where they're at as well. And yeah, it's been really, really good. I've really enjoyed this book. I hope you have too. I will see you tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That link will be in the description box at the end of this live. And also enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow for the last part of our reading. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.